Today I wanted to talk about 5 things that SketchTube will do in order to support animators on the platform. So if this is the first time you're hearing about SketchTube, it's the social media network for animators that I'm currently developing, and it was inspired by Flipnote Hatena and Flipnote Studio. If you had a DSI back in the day, you know what I'm talking about. And last week I made a video talking about 5 things that SketchTube will not do in order to protect animators, such as not having any AI and not feeding the animations to AI, not having an addictive algorithm, and other things like that. Watch the video if you're interested. But today I wanted to talk about 5 things that SketchTube will do. And this is all in the spirit of really fostering a community of animators that are creative, that are supportive, that are passionate, and that want to be part of this niche group of people that are pretty like anti-generative AI and just pro becoming friends and supporting each other and getting your work out there in a community that actually values you. So if that sounds interesting, let's get on with the 5 points. Okay, so the very first point is that it's going to be an animation-only community. And this is obvious when I tell you that SketchTube is a social media for animators to post animations, but I just really want to stress that there's no like other content on it. It's for animations, that's the purpose. And really the thing behind that is that I feel like animators are kind of nomadic at the moment. Any other platform that they post on, like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, they're up against so many odds. First of all, AI, but that's only just recently. Also in the past, there was the extremely addictive and competitive algorithm that only supports the top 1% of people with hundreds of thousands of followers. Good luck getting your work out there if you're just a beginner account. It's really not friendly to post content there, especially with the animation memes. I've talked about that before on YouTube. Only very short, repeatable types of animations get seen on the algorithm because they're the addictive stuff. So the point in creating an animation-only community is that everyone who actually signs up to create an account is either creating animations and therefore will value seeing other animations because they also create them and they want theirs to be shared, or they're just someone that's really passionate at looking at animations and they're actually going to engage with the community. So I think that niching down and really knowing that we're all having this one specific interest and creating a community just for that specific interest of animation is so critical, because we're able to find people that are really ride or dies, really similar values as us. So creating that animation only community is the number 1 point. Option number 2 is something that's going to be down the road, but something that I know artists will appreciate, and it is customizable profiles. So to what extent they will be customizable will definitely evolve over time. Right now, obviously, it's just, I can just demonstrate a little sneak peek, but if I click on my profile, it's like just the description and username and the profile photo, and you're also going to be able to sort by folders. All of this stuff is still very temporary, but there's going to be a vision to have a very customizable feel where this UI is temporary as well. I would just like to stay. I'm always like asterisk, 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 footnote. But yeah, people are going to be able to have their profiles to be quite customizable in that like they can maybe change the background, change the layout, change the way that things look, maybe add GIFs. You can already add a GIF as a profile photo if you want. I just want to figure out ways that people can really make their profile feel unique to them, because I feel like a lot of social media is like kind of just feel boring and corporate, and the goal is not to feel like that. It's to feel very like rough and indie and like fun, and like everyone's has a different little flavor to them. So if you're interested in giving feedback about that and saying exactly in which ways you would like the profiles to be customized, or you have your own ideas or little sketch ideas, feel free to join the Discord or join the beta testing program, which is basically currently ongoing, and it's where people are actually on SketchTube. There's about 30 of us on SketchTube that are making profiles and doing all this stuff. So if you would like to join that, the link is down below. Point number 3 is that tags will be prioritized over algorithm. So currently there is 3 algorithms. There is the most liked algorithm, the most recent from your followings and from who you follow, and then also the most recent overall, so you can see people that you don't follow. But I will have a tags. This is the next thing up on the beta testing. So if you're interested, again, beta testing, but tags are going to be prioritized over algorithm, which basically means you can categorize what category your animation falls under. So if it falls under a certain fandom, you'll be able to give that specific tag. And then people will be able to view algorithms by selecting a certain tag, so they can filter through what they like. And I think that this is great because we can self-define which algorithms we want to appear in. I talked about this in the previous video, but the goal is not to be highly addictive, because I don't want to create an addictive animation platform, because that's going to steal everyone's creative energy into just consuming instead of creating. So that's not the goal. The goal is to create something that is personalized, that is tailored, that gives the animator the chance to see things how they want to see it, and see it specifically, and give them that control to see what they want to see. And also to give the animator posting accountability and free will over what they want to be categorized as. So those things are very important to me. Point number 4 is have a weekly theme, and that's also another feed that I want to have. So every week, and we're currently doing this in the Discord, there's a weekly theme, and it's basically like a 1-word, 2-word type of thing, and whatever that word is of that week, everyone has to create an animation of what comes to mind for them. So it could be anything from changing of expressions to going for a walk, or drawing hair, or special effects, or whatever. Those are weekly themes that we've had. And having this types of community activity that happens every single week. So every Sunday we have an audio call where we watch all the videos together, and we just like kind of talk together and chill. But having this type of community activity that's recurring, I think is so critical, because I feel like there's a trend with art social medias, and I'm trying to avoid this because it's not a static art social media, it's an animation, so hopefully it's a little different, but regardless, still have to be careful. And I think it happened a bit with Kara. And that trend is that people get so excited about the social media from the beginning, because they love the idea of having a new place, because we all hate Instagram. So we're just like, yes, a new place, let's go. And then everyone goes. In such a short amount of time, it gets popular. In the first week, it gets hundreds of thousands of downloads and hundreds of thousands of users. And then 2 weeks later, it's like crickets. No one's using it. So that is just like such a scary trend to me. Like, I really hope that the growth of SketchTube, and so far it has been relatively like stable and slow, because something that explodes fast in popularity also decreases fast in popularity, because it's just like a trend. And the goal to have weekly themes is not only to have an algorithm and to have, I kind of went on a whole tangent there. While the goal of the weekly theme is to give creators a feeling of a new inspiration every week, so if they're stuck on an art block, they can feel inspired, but it's also to make sure that there's always something ongoing that people can participate in, because who cares if there's a social media platform if there's no community attached to the social media platform? I feel like social media today has disconnected us so much more than it has connected us, and I could talk about that for hours, but the goal of this is to return back to the roots, return back to the basics, do what Flipnote Hatena did, which was a weekly theme, and that worked really great. And Sudomemo does that, the revival community, which is super cool as well. And I think that doing something ongoing where everyone is connected under the same theme, and they can actually be inspired by each other and have something that they know is always going to be there, is such a great way to build a sustainable and lasting community. But really, I'm really trying to avoid everything that happens with art social medias, which with the rapid growth and then the rapid decline, because this is something that I've wanted to exist for so long. Like when Flipnote Hatena shut down, I like never cried so much. I was like a little kid, and I was just like so heartbroken. So yeah, I wanted this to exist for like 12-13 years, so I really don't want this to disappear, rise in popularity and then disappear right away. You guys get the point. On to the next one. Okay, so the very 5th thing that SketchTube will do to support animators is create a growth community with educational resources. So overall, I want the vibe to be that no one's like better than each other because someone has more followers or because someone has more experience. I mean, sure, like you might be technically more skilled, but you're not like better. You're not more on the algorithm. You're not more supported. I want there to be a very inclusive vibe, and I think this is the main thing that's going to separate us from Newgrounds. I mean, there's a lot of things, but in general, it's the beginner-friendly aspect, no NSFW, that type of vibe. There's going to be a tag for Learn, and one of the tabs will be resources for animators to learn how to grow, like tutorials on how to do hair, how to do flying, how to do whatever really quickly, so you can access that if you're a beginner animator. Because I want people to go on SketchTube as well, even if they've never animated before, be able to easily learn and then be able to easily get started and then start posting. I also want to create a community that values constructive criticism if requested. So I think that a common practice, or maybe some sort of tag, or still unsure exactly how I want it to work, but somehow people can indicate in their animation whether they're open to constructive criticism, and if they are, then people can give that. And obviously there's a way to say it, you know, like hateful, like rude constructive criticism won't be tolerated, but anything positive that is like, oh, you should have done this instead of this, or, you know, like in a nice way, that's very open, that's very encouraged. And just in general, I want the vibe to be very community-oriented and growth-oriented, where people want to help each other and they don't view beginner animators as less than. They like give them a helping hand to help them reach their animation goals. So those are the 5 things that I could think of right now that SketchTube will do in order to support animators on the platform. And if this is interesting to you and you didn't watch the previous video, please do, because I talk a lot about things that we're not doing. So just like the ethics behind it are really explained. If you watch that video, you can really see like what is not tolerated on the platform contrasted to today, what we are encouraging. So you can see if this type of platform resonates with you. And if it really does resonate with you, and while watching the video you were like, oh my gosh, I have an amazing idea that Helena should know about that I want to tell her right now, make sure to join the Discord down below, or join the beta testing program, which is also down below. And we can be in close communication where you will tell me your feedback, because that's currently what's happening with the beta testing in my Patreon. And that's ongoing because SketchTube will not release for another 4 or 5 months kind of thing. So it's still being developed, and feedback is open. Feedback is welcome, and especially if you're a beta tester, you get to actually test it and tell me what you like and what you don't like. If you are interested in supporting SketchTube as a whole and help fund it, there's a Ko-Fi link down below. And if you're interested in hearing all the news and updates, join either the Discord. I post it on Discord most of the time, and there's also an email newsletter, which is the website, sketchtube.com right now. It's the current placeholder. Okay, I'm out of breath. Sometimes I feel like I talk faster than my breath can take me. At least I got my point across today. So I'll see you guys next week. Have a really good one, and keep on drawing. Bye!